Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. So today we are talking about, you guessed it, fulfillment. So let's be fulfilled. Where's this going to go? I don't know.
Oh man, where is this going to go?
Well, I did kind of a spontaneous vlog on it recently.
Which I loved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it was really about the understanding of what fulfillment is, and that it's not like I think unconsciously, just like most things, we kind of have this perception that when we do something, we'll be fulfilled by it. But just like anything else that we really yearn for, like peace, happiness, joy, it comes from within. So, it's not because of an action. It's a result of doing what you're supposed to be doing. So like, I don't sit there and finish a podcast or finish up with a client life coaching and go, oh, there. Now that I just finished a really good life coaching session, I feel really fulfilled. Like, that's not how it works. Like, I feel fulfilled while I'm doing it. Like, if I slow down and I just kind of pay attention, I can feel this sense of joy and fulfillment as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. As I look at my life as a whole and be like, you know what? You help people for a living and you do your best at that. And it's really in alignment with what you should be doing. That really feels good. It makes me feel fulfilled. But it's an ongoing thing. It's not like it's not, a lot of people, I see it when people try to get a job that they want and they get that job and they think, well, this is a good job. Like, I'll be fulfilled, because, and we'll make it real easy to wrap your brain around a job where you help people, like, oh, I'm going to become a nurse because then I can help others and it'll be a fulfilling career. And then they become a nurse and they're wondering why they're not fulfilled. And it's the same with a life coach or any career. It's because it doesn't come in that format. It doesn't, you're not, there's things that you do. Like, sometimes I'm doing accounting that I don't want to do accounting, or I'm doing other things that have to do with my business. And it's like, oh, well, wait, I didn't know my life was going to look like this. Oh, I have my own business and I'm a life coach. That sounds wonderful, but I didn't know it was going to consist of all this stuff. And this isn't fulfilling. And this is isn't what I want my life to look at. Like, I could go down that route if I wanted. It's not because if you happen to be, if your calling happens to be a calling that obviously helps people in an external way that people can point the finger at and go, oh, that's going to be fulfilling. That doesn't mean that you have fulfillment. It's your perspective on it that gives you the fulfillment. It's an ongoing process that gives you the fulfillment, and it's very similar to like self-love. It's, the first time I kind of stumbled across this concept was many years ago when somebody asked me, we're talking about self-love, and somebody said, well, you seem to love yourself. Why? And I went, ooh, good question. So I was like, well, so I thought about it, and it's like, well, why do I love myself? And one of the things that came up was like, because I had to give an example. I couldn't just be, ethereal about it. So I was like, okay, I said, well, one of the reasons I love myself is because I'm honest. I decided, 15 years ago, something like that, 15 years ago, to not lie, even white lies. And I wasn't majorly dishonest back then. It was just kind of something I wanted to play around with and experiment with. And it really became very helpful. So like, I don't sit there and all of a sudden find myself in a situation where it's easy to lie, and then I don't lie. And then afterwards I go, wow, boy, I just got this huge shot of self-love because I didn't lie. I love me, like that's not how it works. It's an ongoing thing. I like the idea that I am one who doesn't lie. I like the idea of being an honest person. And since I consistently live that in my life, it's one of the reasons that I have love for myself. So it's this ongoing mentality. It's not a specific thing that induces it.
So I think that in general, what you're saying, like maybe an easy way to break this down is fulfillment is like in the macro sense, right? And we look for it in micro situations. So we look for fulfillment in the job, in the day-to-day. We look for fulfillment in like, why is this thing? We put fulfillment on things, right, and experiences. And when in reality, the feeling of fulfillment and the feeling of being happy and satisfied with yourself and what you're doing is an overall sensation.
Right. Yeah, it's not the it's not the minute by minute thing. It's the general ongoing existence that you're living. If you're living a life where you can have a fulfilling life, maybe this will help too. You can have a fulfilling life without really being fulfilled by your job, which generally is not the direction that I come at things from. I want us to find as much joy as we can, but there are as many different people as there are different paths. And there are some people who go to work each day and they don't particularly feel that fulfilled from their job. They don't dislike their job, but it's not like it's their huge calling in life and all this stuff. And they go there and they do 8 hours and it's fine. There's not some big inner resistance towards it, but it's not this huge fulfilling thing either. It's just a part of their life because they live in this world and we kind of all have to have jobs, So, but that's not the big part of their life. They get their fulfillment outside of their job.
Right. This has got me fired up now. This aspect of it. Like this aspect of it has gotten me really fired up because like we hear so much about like our culture today is push for more and for a better job and for more money and to be doing the thing that you love to do, like follow your passion and all of that stuff. And we've talked about it on the show quite a bit, actually. Like that stuff is fantastic, but it's not necessarily for everybody. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a job that is fine and you don't hate and allows you to create a life where you can like still play for the local pickup basketball team.
Right. And derive joy from spending time with your kids.
Yeah.
And your grandchildren and having hobbies outside of work and having loving relationships with your family and your friends. And, that whole aspect of life can be very fulfilling. And some people I've met people like this, and like every once in a while it'll capture my attention because, you meet this person and they're kind of almost disconnected to their work life. They're just like, yeah, it's my job, Well, do you hate it? No, it's fine. What? And like, you're kind of like searching for some big emotional reaction from them. And there's just none. They're just like, it's just fine. And then you start talking to them about the rest of their life and they just come alive. and then you can even go back and be like, that. Well, does your job like impede on this in any way? It's like, no. Do you like your life? I love my life. It's like, oh, okay. So, there are different paths for different people. So I think that's one way to look at it. You have to find fulfillment in what brings you joy.
Yeah.
And if you're, if go, like, I am not one of those people. Okay. So I think this is important. Okay. I think this is important because I think it's going to bring some clarity on a distinction, because I don't want people to think of it one way. You have to understand it's your way. I cannot live that life that I just described. I cannot go to work 8 hours a day doing something that isn't my passion. That's my calling.
Yeah.
Absolutely impossible.
Right.
I've tried it a lot and it doesn't work. I have to be doing my passion. Yeah. I have to. It's not an option. If I am not, there's Glenn's going down, man.
Right.
There's going to be a horrible crash at the end.
Right.
No. So it's important to understand you have to find what works for you. But understanding what works for you, now all of a sudden you can start seeing what we're talking about, because it's like, okay, I have to do it. I have to do a job that makes me feel alive. Somebody else doesn't. Oh, okay. So it's not in the job. That's not what we're looking for. It's kind of like an overview of, if you like what you're doing and how you're living your life, and there's consistent joy and your perspective is appropriate on it. You can be living actually a very fulfilling life and not feel fulfilled at all because your perspective is off. You're going, well, I thought I was going to be a nurse or a life coach, and now that I am one, this isn't what I expected. So now what? Now I have to see. It's all external when we're looking at it like that. It has to come from the inside. We have to enjoy what we're doing in our life as a whole, and who we are as a person, and why we're doing things, and that type of stuff. That's what breeds the fulfillment.
I have two really good friends, and I feel like they're great examples of both of these situations. One of them is that they're both fathers of two young kids, and they both love their family time. Obviously, is very fulfilling, and they're great dads. And one of them has a job that is like, he climbed sort of a corporate ladder to the middle, and he's got a good job, but it's, he does a lot of nights and whatever. And it's what you would say of like, do you love your job? I don't care, but his passion is like grilling and playing baseball. And he was never like the star athlete. So he was never going to like become a Major League Baseball player. That just wasn't going to be in the cards for him. But his job and his life allows him to spend so much time with his kids and to grill and have his big family come over for these grilling, for these, cookouts. And he literally just was in like the local Summer League World Series for adults that play baseball in like the New England area. Mm. And I think that guy has a really fulfilling life, and his job is like not the main part of that. Meanwhile, I have another friend who's a dad of two, who is a serial entrepreneur, who quit his job, started following his passion, found a way to make a lot of money doing that, got into real estate, started flipping, doing other stuff, wasn't feeling fulfilled even with all of the stuff that he had, turned it into, now he's like crazy into CrossFit, and he's going and running Spartan races like twice a month. You know what I mean? And they're both living really fulfilling lives in opposite directions, and it's like there's no path. Like that's
Right.
that's a cookie cutter path for anybody.
No, you have to find your own, and you got to find a balance that works for you. And it's, a lot of times that sounds like such a difficult question to answer, and it's really not. Like, I mean, if somebody hates their job, then you either have to switch jobs, or to find one that's actually, most people, I'm going to generalize here a little bit. Most people that hate their jobs need to have a job that they find their passion in. Not 100%, but most. So, because like somebody who can just work kind of a menial job that's okay with them, they kind of just naturally head in that direction. They're really not putting all this outside pressure on fulfillment on their career anyway, just because innately they kind of know they're not going to get it there. Mm-hmm. So usually those people, like, very rarely do you find one of those people that's in a job that they hate, and then they're going to go find a job that that is not fulfilling in any way, but it's okay and it's good enough. Like, no, probably not. If you really hate your job, you probably need to find something that you're passionate about. You're probably one of those people that needs to find fulfillment and joy in their passion as a career,
By the way, like you were just saying, like the term menial job, you're not saying that as like a negative or a insulting or demeaning term at all.
No, not at all.
It's a term that's used, but like the world needs working class people. The world needs middle management.
Oh my God, yeah. Now more than ever,
So,
I mean,
like, and if that's something that you enjoy or allows you to do something else that you enjoy more, but it gives you the freedom to live the life that you want to live, that's amazing. That's not, so the colloquial term, whatever, how I mispronounced that, but that, but as a menial job or whatever it is, like something that you're not on fire passionate about is fine. Like,
oh, absolutely.
This is great. Why, actually, it's amazing if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and I mean, this is so it's a good point, because sometimes the way I guess probably anybody, not just me, but the way sometimes things are phrased, it can sound offensive even when it's not. And this is a good example of that, because I didn't mean it in a derogatory way at all. This is the reason why we have different types of people.
Yeah.
Like, it's that, that's why the system works so perfectly, because not everybody is supposed to derive fulfillment from their jobs, not on the same level as somebody that's doing something that they're passionate about, so people are supposed to be that. This is what makes the whole world go, and I think a lot of times, like, the first time I kind of came across this was when I still remember this. I was like 24, 25 or something. And I was moving to Florida. I'm moving out of a small town in Massachusetts down to Florida. And I was hanging out with some friends, and I was like, oh my God, I got to get out of this town. I can't take it anymore. It's horrible. All just venting. So I'd get myself to move, and I was completely unconscious. And, all of a sudden one of my friends looked at me and he goes, well, what does that say about us? Like, we're staying here. It sounds like you're really putting us down for staying in this crappy town.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that's not how I meant it. Like, really, to be honest with you, I envy you, because do you know how much easier it would be just for me to stay in my hometown? If I could find happiness here, that'd be really easy. Like, picking up my entire life and moving 1,400 miles doesn't seem like a walk in the park to me. There's probably going to be some difficulties there. So if I could stay in my hometown, this was one obstacle I didn't have to climb over. I'd be cool with that. It's just, that's not who I am, So it's, a lot of time, if if I could work a menial job and it didn't feel like it was sucking the life out of me, that would be good. You know,
Yeah.
I probably would have been more peaceful a long flipping time ago, you know, but I'm not. And I tend to be a slow learner. So it took me a while to get here.
There are, I know personally, like custodians who are the happiest people and most fulfilled people I've ever met in my life. And I know millionaire business owners who are miserable every single day of their life.
Absolutely. And it's funny whenever somebody says custodian, the first thing I think of instantly is one of the custodians in my junior high school. He was the coolest guy, man. I talked to him about stuff. Yeah. Because I felt so comfortable with him. He was such a nice guy, and I haven't seen him in 40 years, but I still remember that he was a cool guy, and he was a nice guy, and I respected him. He was working for a living, raising his family. I don't give a crap what you do. Take care of your responsibilities. That gives me respect for you, so it has nothing to do with what society says is good or not. There's nothing. I think it inspires me when I see somebody doing a job that society deems menial and they take pride in it and they're joyful in it. That's, as soon as I see that, that's when I go, that person gets it, like the big picture, what life's about, joy. I don't give a crap what somebody's doing for their job. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I noticed about myself. Generally, I don't remember what people do for work. Yeah, I swear to God, there's the way my brain works. My entire life, unless I make a special point to try to remember, I have always been like this. I never remember what people do for work, ever. I didn't even know what my father did for work. I knew the company he worked for, but I didn't know what he actually did. People ask me, I'm like, I don't know. He's in IT. Yeah, well, what does he do? I have no idea. I don't care. No offense. I don't care what people do because that's not them,
Yeah.
It's, so even before I woke up, I guess it was a part of me that sensed that wasn't that important, even if it's a life coach, what society says, ooh, that must be important and fulfilling. And it's, it's a job. And yes, we can help others and we can get fulfillment. We can get joy out of doing it if it's what fulfills us. But if you have a life coach that it's not their passion, and you have a life coach that it is their passion, the one that it is their passion, respect, thank you, love what you're doing. The one who it isn't their passion and they're just out there trying to do it to help people, get out of it. Not impressed. Pick a different path. Find your joy, or if you want to do it, just to the best of your ability, and you can help some people and find your fulfillment and enjoyment elsewhere. If you're one of those people, cool. I get it. But if you're not, I don't care what your job is, even if society deems it as helpful, if your life isn't joyful, then you need to do some adjusting. Yeah. Either with your career or with outside of your career or both.
Something that I think is very, just doing a time check. Something that I think is very interesting is I'm working with someone locally right now who is we're gonna start a nonprofit. I'm helping, but I'm not starting it. Starting a nonprofit that is a community-based choir, music program, theater program, community arts. So what I did was just to try, Something like the high school chorus where I grew up has like 100 students a year and has for the last 20 years. A lot of those kids never leave the like 3-town area where I grew up. And but they all loved this so much. So what I did was I made a like a Facebook message, and I just sent out like feelers to, I don't know, like 100 people. And I was like, hey, I know somebody who's building this thing. If you or anybody else that you know that like we might have known together might be interested in it, just as a fun thing for like adults and all ages to do, I'll let you know when I know more info. And I got a 100% response rate of that's amazing. I've been missing like that aspect of my life. Music made me so happy. This thing that I used to do made me so happy. I can't believe that this might come back. Please let me know. Or like, I'm actually out of town now, but I know 5 people that still live in the area that would be so psyched about this.
Right.
Yeah.
So
just
touching
moms,
on what
dads, people that work in town now, teachers now that are like, oh, cool, there's something that I could do that would fulfill me even more than I am now.
Exactly. And that's, those, when we're aware of things that we enjoy, we need to bring them into our lives in one way, shape, or form. And sometimes it's as hobbies. It's a thing. People like don't put enough emphasis on hobbies.
I don't personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a big deal. That's why, like the last couple of weeks has been tough, but I've been doing more active things and just going rollerblading and biking more and stuff. That's stuff I enjoy. I enjoy being active, and it's, my mood goes up, and it's helpful to do that stuff. And that's the type of thing we need to bring all this stuff into our lives, because it feeds our soul.
That's, you just reminded me of hobbies that I really enjoy that I haven't done in a long time. I mean, I was the other day, I was literally just playing pass in the backyard with a football with a 4-year-old, and I was out running routes, like and I was like, this is so fun. This is so much fun. I feel like this is you giving me so much joy.
That's it. That's the thing. It's funny you say that, because I was just watching football yesterday, and I saw Jerry Rice, who's been retired for a number of years, out on the field, running a route, and somebody throwing him a pass and him catching it, and just like, stepping in the end zone and stuff. And I mean, he was just filled with joy. And those are the things that, as adults, a lot of times, everybody's different in this regard, but I think a lot of people sit there and go, oh yeah, I have an opportunity to play, they're at a picnic and they have an opportunity to play catch with a football, and they're like, oh no, I can't play football anymore. I'm 52 years old and my career's over. Like, it's not about that, man. It's just about playing catch. Get off the picnic table and catch a couple passes. I found myself doing that. Oh well, that's the kids play. And then I get up and get involved, and it's like, hey, this is fun. It's okay to have fun. So I think, that's part of fulfillment. So I think fulfillment, a lot of it can be in our job, it can be in our personal life, it can be a combination of both. But really the big thing of it is designing a life that is fulfilling. So, do things that you enjoy, embody qualities that you respect. If you're going to do your job as a passion, do that. If you're going to find fulfillment in your hobbies or your family life, do that. and do it consciously. Know what you're doing. You know, if you can sit down at the end of the day and go, wow, I really like my life, that's fulfilling. You know, and to like your life, you have to like who you are. You have to embody the characteristics you like honesty, like integrity, like being loving, being caring, being kind, being engaged with life. You can't sit back and protect yourself not engaging in life and expect to be fulfilled. So stop protecting yourself, get in the game and stop playing, you know, and then you can stop fulfilling yourself.
I think that this is really ironic. The vlog that you did on this, which was like impromptu, you just did it in the middle of a bike ride and sent it to me. And my computer that I used to edit everything for your stuff was really giving me like a ridiculous amount of issues. So I had to download an app and like figure out how to edit this vlog on my phone real quick in a new way. Like I was like, let me do this in a new fun way. And I had a lot of fun with it. And because of that, because of this topic, this episode that you like were just compelled to record on your phone randomly, it completely switched the vibe of the vlog. And like there's new music and a new style to everything now because of that moment. And it really got me like more interested in editing again. And I've been doing that ever since. And instead of just kind of the conveyor belt of like, this is what Glenn's videos look like. And so it has made me more fulfilled and to remember that this was a passion and not just some things on a to-do list I had to mark off, you know? Right. So, and coincidentally, the irony of ironies is that right now, I think that this might be my favorite podcast we've ever done.
Wow. So you're getting fulfilled by the fulfillment aspect of
Boom.
fulfilling.
Boom. Yeah. But that being said, we're out of time.
Yeah. So I hope you're fulfilled because that's the end.
Check out everything glennambrose.com. I mean, he has content every single day and, 5 years of this stuff. Also, we don't say this enough. If you like the show, subscribe wherever you listen to it and leave a comment and a rating. That would be really helpful to help other people find it. If you want exclusive content and you really want to help out the show monetarily, check out patreon.com/GlennAmbrose. And if you want to work with Glenn, check out glennambrose.com because he can work with you anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And that patreon.com, by the way, is like monetarily, that's $10 a month. So it's not much, and you get all kinds of video content and exclusive content. So yeah, check it out. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for fulfillment. I feel fulfilled. So thanks for listening, and we will talk with you soon.
Glenn is available for life coaching sessions. To book an appointment or for more information, go to glennambrose.com, follow him on Facebook and Twitter, or click the link in the description of this episode.